the NDC deal with the matters without any favors, without any. I guess that's what they should do. Otherwise, people complain. And again, you don't want to walk into the trap. My good friend Ken seems to be setting for the country. I feel strongly like that gentleman I held in high esteem would allow his minions who are going through the same process, and then he says he'll be persecuted, so you won't come. That's bravery in cowardice, and I don't think we should be encouraging things like that. And again, I say that his lawyers, so his local lawyers, they were the ones who landed him in this trouble. If this gentleman had come quietly without insulting the OSP, treating him like some debt, this matter would have not. If he wouldn't have been listed in the Interpol list in the first place. Now look at where you ended up. ICE. Look at what they are doing to ICE people. He's even lucky that they didn't. He's lucky they just went and picked it. You know, the way that ICE people are beating people up. You know, so I'm like, so seriously speaking, the NDC government should continue, and I think it is important that this whole idea of responsibility, accountability, it should not be just one way. It has to be both ways. Okay. And I also agree that my good friend, the Attorney General, shouldn't have started with this only prosecuting 60%, 40%. That was a very bad thing to start off. Okay. Very, very bad. So I don't have confidence in the rest of the cases. But anyway, that's the way it is.
Okay. Thank you so much. Professor Bewio, your party says you are coming to fight corruption. There are many people who were saying start with bringing Sedinam Tamakloe home first so that she'll come and face justice. Now she has been arrested upon a request by the government in the past. Eyes are watching. How is the NDC government going to act? Everybody's interested because you seem to be very active in looking for Ken Ofori-Atta. Can we trust you to have the same kind of energy?
Yeah, I think we have demonstrated in the past, and our present leader has demonstrated it before, that he's one who is not a clearing agent. Unlike others, he's willing to punish his own appointees if they fall below the bar. This he has mentioned on unambiguous terms, and I can remember that he even recited the Akan proverb that Abaya debo techino and Nana debo ba, meaning that, and he told his appointees every time that he's not going to shield anybody. And so I'm not surprised that the Attorney General is making effort to bring Sedinam down, as well as to bring Ken Ofori-Atta down. We do know that the people of Ghana are angry and expectant of some effort and results. In fact, not just effort, they want results, tangible results in aura. It was one of the pillars on which we won this election. People want to see people who have looted the country. If we claim so, and it is so, they want to see evidence. They want to see people punished. They want to see people pay for their deeds. You see, the defeat of the NPP in the last election is a lesson to every young politician and everybody who seeks to govern this country or lead this country in any form, that you'll be held accountable at the ballot box for your collective actions as a party. But the next step is that people must be held individually responsible for decisions they took. And that's the next step, that if we fail, then there will be no hope in this democracy. Because then what it will mean is that when we are angry, we just go and vote and change the government. The next government comes and do worse. They go and change them. And how many times will we go through that? But if people realize that individually you'll be held responsible, then people will be careful. I mean, didn't people like Abuga Pele go into jail under Mohammed's administration? Was he not a president? Hasn't it happened before? And he said it clearly. So I don't think that if the person who has done something before tells you that I will do it, you should have doubts. And you've seen that the Attorney General didn't go selective. If he had gone for, made all the noise about Ken Ofori-Atta and nothing's happening about Sedinam, then we'll be talking. But we can see that deliberate effort to get all of them to come down to face justice. One thing I have noticed about our learned Attorney General is that he works so much more And a lot of things, he doesn't talk about them. Occasionally, he makes a press conference. People are like, why don't you go to the court instead of making the press conference? The efforts done concerning Sedinam, concerning Ken Ofori-Atta, a lot of it was in silence until they had gotten substantive information before they came public. And if you check the last time they came public because communicators and lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta were trying to throw dust into the entire nation's eyes. Oh, it's just an immigration issue. It's just that his visa has expired and therefore it's a normal process. And that has been their line of communication. When truly the man's visa was revoked. Why were you pretending and telling everybody a lie on this? You know, ICE picked up the guy and they wish they could present it differently. So then he had to come out and set the record straight. So I just want to say that I have absolute confidence that everything will be done diplomatically. The Foreign Affairs Minister is engaging. Our ambassador in the US is engaging. The Attorney General is engaging to make sure that these people are brought, just to send a signal that you can't mess up as a nation and run somewhere. And to quote the words of my leader in Parliament, we are calling on Zacchaeus to come down and from the sycamore tree.
But the man is not short.
Oh, no, but we are using biblical metaphors. He should come down and today is judgment day.
Zacchaeus wasn't wearing white.
And face judgment. But the signal that is being sent is what should also inform all of us in present leadership and anybody who has passed into public space that you will be held accountable.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you are a citizen somewhere or you have property somewhere, they can run and go and hide, that we can punish the people here. You see, there's a thing about being here. Being here, even before you are sentenced or you are tried and judged, the Ghanaian public, the media, you, Omar, and co, each day they are judging your conscience. They are picking your conscience on what you have done. If Ken was here following all these discussions from the time OSP and all of that, there would have been enough introspection. But when you are out there, you probably don't be following. You have the option to follow what's happening in the media here. At least come and face it and let people know that you cannot do things and run somewhere. I trust the Attorney General.
Okay.
He will be fair to all. And my advice to our leadership in government, especially those in the judicial, the justice space, Attorney General, his deputy, and everybody in that region, is that ORA is one of the pillars on which we came to power. We must execute it to the best of our ability. Let's recover as much. Let's punish those that deserve to be punished. If we fall below the line, let ourselves subject ourselves to the law so that people can have trust in this democracy that we are practicing.
Richard, there are people who say that Ken's absence is a dent on the reputation and image of the NPP as an entire machinery, that the man who was in charge of the national purse has, quote and unquote, run away. In fact, let me remove the quotes and say that OSP said he has run away, he's a fugitive of justice. Should you not help bring him back as a party? Because like the embarrassment is touching you too, or you don't think that it's an issue that you should take as a party?
Well, thank you, Umaru. I thought that you were going to talk about this rather difficult issue in our country where we are forced now to imagine what gender means.
No, we'll get there.
We'll get there, you sure? Because I don't think you have time.
No, we have time. If you don't.
Okay.
But you're deliberately ignoring.
No, okay. So I just want to be sure that we have time.
We'll talk about it.
Because right now, if I ask you what gender is, you have an answer, right? But now,
Richard,
we're put in a
what
space
is Ken Ofori-Atta?
No, we'll talk about Ken Ofori-Atta. Ken is, on one hand, an individual now, because we're not in government. He's an individual, a member of our party. He has not broken any law, as you would attest to. There's a need for him to come and answer questions. What we know to be the difficulty is that he is not in good health. Evidence of that has been adduced. Now, government want to proceed against him with some charges. And the idea is that you can still advance all those without necessarily having him here. Even though Madam Sedinam Tamakloe was here when the actions were commenced against her. She was not here when the process terminated, but it terminated nonetheless. There's been reasonable arguments made that proceed. Ken is not stopping anything in terms of legal processes against him. And so I don't see why there is any hesitation or there is any hue and cry about Ken is not in the country. You can deal with the matter. So the question is, why is the government not dealing with the matter? They want to sensationalize it, make it about his presence. When it doesn't necessarily have to be about his presence, you can proceed. Okay, so I don't see the meat of the matter at this point.
You heard Prof say that if he was here, his conscience would be pricked and that he would see and hear what he has done. But
who says he's not listening, or his conscience cannot be pricked with the communication, the conversation around it? He's alive.
But he should
the only way you cannot hear
account for his stewardship.
No, but he will account for what?
His stewardship.
No, you don't have any crime that he ought to account for. You have questions. You want him to come and answer. Yes. Hold on. Now, if we make that point, we are going ahead of ourselves to say that he has committed a crime, for which reason he has to come and answer.
The state says he has committed a crime.
Yes, that's a charge. You understand? It's a charge. People have been charged and they've gone to and they're exculpated. They're at the court. So I'm just saying that if you say you have a basis, proceed with the charges. Okay. And the man says he claims health. Umaru, one thing I have learned, having gone through this accident, Umaru, I don't know why Moro is coming to mind. Umaru, is the idea that once you get to that point, you're a medical doctor, once you get to that point, nothing else matters. You can be the president of this republic. Who takes the decision and sign a certain act or a bill into law does not matter to you when you are suffering ill health. You may be the president, but you don't care who signs it. If the person who signs it will be the person to save you, you want that. So when you are there, all bets are off. So if Ken has a health issue, I'm telling you that if I were him, I would pay attention to get back on my feet. And he's doing just what anyone around the table will do. And I'm saying even including the president. So if you are a country and you want to proceed against him, do so. The basis exists for you to do that. Do that. If you're not doing that, you cannot make it about Ken. If you have concluded, just like the case is in Madam Sedinam Tamakloe's case, that you have been convicted, come and serve your sentence, that one you have a legitimate point at that point. But right now, you are only forcing the man to come and answer a question.
Leave Ken Ofori-Atta there.
You proceed against him with the charges you have. Proceed. Let the trial proceed. He is losing the opportunity to be heard. So
it's his problem.
It's his problem. So you deal with it. Once you convict him, then now we have a case that all of us must join and say, come and serve your sentence. But for now, you don't have anything against him.
Duncan, you agree? Ken Ofori-Atta, there's no problem. Let him be. You can prosecute him. But said now that
he can come, but if he's not here, it's not a basis for which you are not proceeding. Okay. And therefore, if he's not here, we can't try him.
Okay.
You understand?
Should we put Sedina and Ken in the same basket or no?
Sanda, corruption is our bane. We started off discussing the transport sector issues, and one of the key challenges is the road infrastructure. Sometimes you hear a certain road corridor and know that maybe 100 million could have done a lot to it. Then you hear within the public, space, one of the demonstrations I joined, you recall the Bank of Ghana had printed so much money, so much could not be accounted for, and people got away with it, right? Then you will come back and hear they want to collect taxes from our pockets, on fuel. So it gets you irritated as a Ghanaian. I do think that in the context of Ken and Sedinam Tamakloe, is one thing, public resources, public trust were given them, right? How they held those offices. It calls for accountability. I do think that I agree with Prof. Beyo when he says that you should at least make an effort to account for whatever stewardship you were given. The attempt to hide behind, medical reasons, for me, is neither here nor there. The same Ken Ofori-Atta was not 100% fit when he was even the finance minister. There were long spells. We were here. We got told that he had undergone, you know, a medical surgery or something and was recovering. He was still the finance minister.
At the time, he was even supposed to be vetted. There were
Yes,
some issues.
yeah, there were issues for which he was not available.
They had to
So
change all of that.
the health issues did not.
Not to interject, but you see, so you are making a good point. At the time, his vetting and all of that, he had health issues. It was delayed until he was well to come. Now, if he says he's not well, and we still just have to wait for him to be well. But that does not stop you from trying him. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that it doesn't stop you from trying him.
You see, Richard,
at all.
Richard, let me
Richard's point
proceed.
is that let's prosecute him, whether or not he's here, so we can do that.
When you convict him, then necessarily
You see,
he must be
in
here.
the eyes of the public, we must see public office holders at least making an effort to be accountable. Yes. I was in this office. It is not every charge that should end up in court. Don't forget that. There are times I wouldn't understand how this was, and I'm thinking that, oh, if this was, then probably there's an issue. Your explanation to me, if I am an investigative body, could tell me that, oh, so this was nothing done deliberately. It even followed from this. There were some issues here that we needed to resolve. So for the purpose of accountability, it makes sense for you to just show up and say,
But it
look,
doesn't stop you. That's the point.
you see?
But does it stop you?
No, you see,
Go ahead.
I'm saying it is not every charge. Let's establish that. It is not every charge or suspicion that should end up in a courtroom because I suspect Sanda is carrying this pen. Maybe there's some,
It's a hidden camera. And I'm using
hidden
some
camera,
video.
It might
right?
be. It might be.
So if I am able to get him to engage, what I get from, oh, this is normal pen.
Big pen.
And so there's nothing really to even proceed from.
So hear
right?
from him before.
Hear from him. That is the rules of natural. You see, when we were discussing the earlier issue on
Frimpong
Boateng,
The MPP said they won't hear him.
you see, the rules of natural justice says that, look, even where the person has committed the offense, allow the person to probably to be heard.
But he said he won't come.
But Ken is saying he wouldn't want to be heard.
Let me hear from
Ken says he wouldn't want to be heard.
Let me just a brief on the medical issues. You know, he had something uttered by his medical team, giving a medical leave of a sort, which has since expired. As we stand today, there is no documentation anywhere that a doctor has barred him from traveling. ICE, by their standard practice, will not keep you in detention and not in the hospital if you had medical issues for which reason you needed care. So let's put two and two together. Yes, if you were arrested and you are
running down people, shooting people.
no, but when you are ill,
that
then
your
your right to health is protected.
No, they
You
are
may be
killing
in
healthy people. You are
detention.
telling me that the sick one.
Oh, no.
Okay,
But the point I want to make with Duncan is that.
If you come inside, I won't talk about LGBT.
Oh no, yeah, that's right. But the point I want to say.
Oh, you're okay, we don't talk about
that. The point I was going to make is that Ken Ofori-Atta availed himself to engage the investigators remotely, which the same OSP dealt with.
But
some
you see,
of our-
Richard,
Oh, no,
he
no,
didn't
he
govern
dealt-
us remotely.
So is it
When he was the finance minister, the office was not held remotely.
So the morality of him coming is what you're
It's
asking.
We said come and be with us.
No, I'm saying that.
The same Ofori-Atta told
Why are you
us. Richard,
shifting?
it was
You make the
my
point
turn.
that he ought to be
It was
spoken.
my turn
No,
and
I'm
you
just
all
trying to
jumped in.
let that
Richard,
finish.
No,
what
because
I'm
we are
saying,
sitting
what I'm saying is
So
this.
please appreciate
What I'm saying
that
is
today
this. Richard,
there's
what I'm saying
injustice,
is
isn't
this.
it?
What I'm
There's
saying is
responsibility
this.
to take your time.
Richard, what I'm saying is this.
There's
Richard,
injustice.
Richard,
Allow him.
Give him
Allow
the
him.
opportunity.
Richard, what
For the
I'm
man's
saying
Allow
is this,
him.
Richard. The same Ken Ofori-Atta, in one of his interviews, famous, was asked the way the economy has gone, does he think it prudent to resign? He said, we are his children. And a father cannot abandon his children. Today, the children are asking questions of, accountability.
Come home,
For
Daddy.
me particularly,
Come home.
that National Cathedral
Yeah.
and its expenditure.
You want explanation?
Exactly.
Yes.
Then some monies that went into the dam up north, Pualugu, some 12 million USD.
12 million.
We'll be happy to hear from him.
Okay.
So
he's
don't
Very well.
available remotely.
The same way
He didn't.
He didn't lead us remotely.
Let's-
It was a corruption issue nonetheless.
Let's
And
make
the OSP
progress.
traveled to go and talk to
Let's
him.
make progress
Why
in
hasn't the
concluding.
OSP
I'm going to
done
read a statement from the National Catholic Secretariat. The first, second, third paragraph says, we acknowledge and welcome the clarification by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, that the officially approved national curriculum does not include LGBTQ-related lessons. We commend NACA for withdrawing the offending material and issuing a revised manual aligned with national norms and values. Nevertheless, we remain convinced that this incident reveals deeper weaknesses in oversight, consultation, and value alignment within curriculum development process. Public trust in education depends on transparency, accountability, and fidelity to constitutional and moral principle. Prof. Beyo, when you were in opposition, you were on the rooftop shouting that the Akufo-Addo government wanted to legalize Chumu Chumu. Now, we've gone full circle, and it took Reverend Ntim Fojo to come out and announce that you have hidden something in the curriculum, only for you to come out and say, oh, he apologized and you are withdrawing. In 1 minute.
Okay, it's
Are you
interesting.
blowing hot and cold?
Not at all. Definitely not. First of all, let's be clear that I'm informed that that error has been rectified. About 700 or whatever publication have been withdrawn, and the deeper issue we should be looking at is how that error could even occur. But coming from Reverend Ntim Fojo, I am surprised that he didn't own it, that this development process of this curriculum began under their tenure. Right? It did. If you know the processes by which curriculum is developed, you cannot get up in 3 months and develop a curriculum and publish it. The process for this curriculum, this physical education curriculum that we are talking about, began in 2024. Right? If you want to change curriculum, you have to set new goals for the curriculum. The whole change that you want to do, you have to do consultation, and they have to go into the objectives of that curriculum and now draft it to get to the point of producing a
You are
manual.
suggesting they left it behind for you?
It was left behind, but my point is that at that point, there were corrective measures that should have taken place. And I don't want to do who is responsible, who is not responsible. I want us to realize that when it came out and that error was noticed,
It was dealt with.
it has been dealt with.
Very well.
And the issue I just want to put, so no one should try to use this to score political point here and there, because if you want to go to that level, the NPP cannot separate itself, the NPP government, because the development of this manual, the curriculum that led to the production of this manual, began under the NPP era.
Okay.
This new government has not brought any new curriculum.
Very well.
If we have time, I would have brought some other issues that I have seen personally,
Okay.
even with the Constitutional Review Committee's report on gender and some other things that I think, you see, you set up a committee to look at, and I'm sure government will take a critical look at that. Because some of the comments in there
We have to go,
may
I'm
be
afraid.
promoting
Thank you.
our edits.
Richard, they are listening government. Celebrate the Nipaya Ade Osei.
Umaru.
Richard, I'll bring you.
I know. Umaru, this government, this NDC government is responsible, period.
It's responsible.
This is responsible for sneaking this bad education into the minds
Even
of
though
our
they
children.
inherited it.
They didn't inherit anything.
You set a trap and left for them, and they fell inside.
Umaru, they didn't inherit anything from us. That went out. You understand?
That's true.
They didn't inherit anything.
They brought it out.
Brought it.
So they should take
So
responsibility.
if a process starts today, and the process you disagree with, those cases against the NDC people, those cases against the NDC people in court, including Honorable, what's called, no, not before this, this MP for Esutifi, what's the name? Collins Dauda, and the rest, about 6, 7, 8 of them, that the Attorney General issued null prosequi against. Were there no cases started against us? When they didn't like it, when they wanted to free their people, didn't they issue a null prosequi? So what are you telling me, that a process started under us, and were there specific rights?
Let me say something. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Professor Titus Beyo. Duncan Amwa, thank you for agreeing not to comment on this matter. Franklin Kujo, who is joining me virtually, thank you. Thank you so much, Franklin Kujo. Thank you, Dr. Atta. No, I'm not going to reach it now. That's reaching over there. Dr. Atake, thank you. Dr. Bernard Abiku-Arthur, thank you. Viewers, thank you. Producers, thank you. Director, everybody, we are grateful. The Big Issue returns next week. I am Omar Sandabado.